She looked at me and she said, "Get off the street, nigger." I I was studying for my PhD in psychology and walking along the street in Santa Barbara, California on a break between my studies. I was just out in front of the public market, which is a lovely center for local foodies to come and grab delicious items. And a woman, a white woman, was coming toward me as I was walking. I was just kind of in a reverie, enjoying the sun and the architecture. I just love Santa Barbara. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I've traveled extensively. So she was coming toward me. She was about maybe in her late 60s, maybe 70s. And as soon as we got sort of shoulder to shoulder, she looked at me and she said, "Get off the street, nigger." I grew up in the South, in Southern Virginia, born and raised. And I had never heard that word said out loud from a white person. It was totally shocking for me. I was devastated. You would think coming from the nexus of this country's origins in enslavement and Jim Crow and segregation, that I would be toughened. But as a matter of fact, the race relations in the South are such that, in my experience, the blatant nature of it has largely subsided. So it's more systemic and under the radar. And I've learned about racism. I'm aware of it. I've experienced it in myriad ways throughout my life, but I've never been called the N-word. And so it shook me to my core. And I just felt so hurt. And I wondered, what did I do to make her say that? Why me? It took a real emotional toll on me, which even I was surprised by, because I was studying in a graduate program on depth psychology with an emphasis on the mystical and the metaphysics of human consciousness, and I thought that I was in an environment of great tolerance and a love of diversity and progressive mindedness. And clearly this woman wanted me to know that whatever freedom I felt on the street, as a human being, as a woman, as a Black person, was presumptuous and unfounded. I was so affected by this assault, this verbal assault, that I dropped out of grad school. I took a leave of absence and had to process what it meant to be in a place where in 2024 someone would call me nigger. So I just wanted to share that, because for those of you out there who have experienced racism in a blatant form, I just want you to know that it's not your fault, that you didn't do anything to deserve it. And it reminds me because my grandmother tells a story of how she was a very smart student in elementary and middle school here in Southern Virginia, and very eager to go to school and to learn and to excel. But often the bus driver, a white woman on the city bus route, would leave her behind at the bus stop and just pass by, and making her late for school, making her have to walk to school. And as a result of this woman driving past her on school mornings frequently, she got a tardiness report, and her teacher expelled her from school, and she was never able to return. So my grandmother had a 5th grade education and ended up getting pregnant early, having 2 children by the time she was 17, and having a life that was punctuated by that racism, that discrimination on the part of a white woman bus driver who just felt like a pretty little black girl on some mornings didn't deserve to get picked up. So I said all this to say that never give up. Don't let externals undermine your sense of self and your self-worth. Keep pushing on and pushing forward. For my grandmother ensured that her daughter, my mom, got her full education, and my mom ended up getting a scholarship to Columbia. And then our generation, my siblings and I, are all college educated, grad school. My brother's a famous author. So racism has the seeming power to prevent excellence, but only if you allow it, only if you let it. And I am Sia Alexander from Heal Love Now. I thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.